22 years taking 911 calls, car accidents, domestics, overdoses, routine. There's no such thing as ghosts on a phone line. I need to say that again so you understand where I was coming from. I was not a superstitious man. I am not a superstitious man. I'm sitting in my car in a Walmart parking lot in Huntington, West Virginia, recording this on my phone because I still can't talk about it inside a building that has a phone system. That's not superstition. That's something else. I drove a school bus for 6 years after I retired from Cabell County 911. Before that, 22 years behind the console. Started in 91 when we were still on paper cards and radio paging. Watched the whole thing go digital. Learned the Positron Viper system when they upgraded in 2012. Half the senior staff didn't trust the new caller ID display. I trusted it. Numbers come in, ALI plots the address, CAD autofills, you verify, you dispatch. Clean, mechanical. I liked that about the job. It was mechanical. Cabell County Emergency Communications Center, basement of the courthouse annex. 6 consoles, 3 staffed on graveyard, no windows. You didn't want to know what time it was outside. The HVAC hummed a low D flat. Denise on console 1 had perfect pitch, and she told me once during a dead stretch at 4 in the morning. The coffee pot lived between consoles 2 and 3, and whatever was in it after midnight was less coffee and more a brown warning. February 14th, 2013, Valentine's Day, graveyard shift. I remember because Denise had a card from her daughter taped to her monitor, and the pink envelope kept catching the light from her CAD screen, and it bothered me for reasons I could not explain. I was on console 3, Denise on console 1. Console 2 was dark. We lost that position in the September budget cuts. The county kept saying they'd fund it back. They did not. Low call volume. A couple of hang-ups earlier. One medical alarm that turned out to be a cat stepping on a pendant. That's the job at 2 in the morning in a county of 96,000 people along the Ohio River. You wait, you drink the brown warning, you watch the CAD screen blink its cursor like it's waiting with you. 2:47 a.m., line rings. I pick up. Cabell County 911, what's your emergency? I'm having chest pains. Female, elderly, calm, not panicked calm, genuinely calm, like she was reporting the weather. I started the EMD card, cardiac protocol, standard stuff. I've run this card 2,000 times. What's your name, ma'am? Ruth Adkins. And your address? 417 Guyan Avenue. A&I hit the screen before she finished the sentence. The Positron Viper was fast like that. 304525 and 4 digits. Matched a landline registered to Ruth E. Adkins. ALI plotted. Guyan Avenue, Westmoreland neighborhood. The CAD auto-populated. Address verified. Green. And your age, Ruth? 74. Any medications? Lisinopril, metoprolol, baby aspirin. I coded it. Priority 1 medical. Toned out Cabell County EMS Station 2. Unit 252 acknowledged. ETA 6 minutes from the firehouse on 8th Avenue. Routine, textbook. The kind of call you process in your sleep. I stayed on the line. That's protocol for a cardiac. You keep talking. You keep them conscious. You wait for the medics to arrive, and you hand it off. Simple. Ruth was easy to talk to. She answered every question the first time I asked it. Didn't mumble. Didn't repeat herself. Didn't cry. 74 years old with chest pains at 2:47 in the morning, and she sounded like she was ordering at a restaurant. Polite, patient, clear. And that was the thing. That was the first thing that wasn't quite right. And I didn't catch it at the time because you don't catch things like that when you're running a protocol card at 3 in the morning. She was too clear, not just calm, clear, like every word had been considered before she said it, like she was reading from something. And her voice, I can't explain this part well. Her voice was still, not quiet, still. There's a difference. A quiet person is a person who isn't making much sound. A still person is a person who isn't moving at all. That's what Ruth sounded like someone talking without moving, like hearing a voice come up from the bottom of a well. I had Unit 252 rolling, I had Ruth on the line, the CAD was green, everything was exactly where it was supposed to be. And I sat there on console 3, headset on, coffee going cold, and I did not know that I was talking to a woman who had been dead for 6 hours. I kept her talking. That's the job. You keep them talking until the truck gets there. Ruth told me about her evening, made a pot roast, watched the 6 o'clock news, took her pills, same ones she listed, and went to bed around 9. Woke up with the chest pains, called 911. All of it made sense. All of it fit. An elderly woman alone in a house in Westmoreland, doing what elderly women alone in houses do. But then she kept going. I didn't ask for more. She just offered it. My husband was Gerald. He passed in 07, prostate cancer. He built the porch on this house himself in 1974. I typed notes in the CAD. I didn't need to. Medics don't need to know about porches. But I typed because that's what you do when someone talks. You type. It keeps your hands busy. The kitchen has yellow wallpaper. I wanted blue. Gerald wanted yellow. I let him have it because a man building a porch in July deserves a yellow kitchen. Ruth, help is on the way. They should be there in just a couple minutes. I know, thank you. The furnace makes a knocking sound when it kicks on. Gerald said it was the expansion joint. I never fixed it after he passed. I like the sound. It sounds like someone coming home. That's when I noticed it, or didn't notice it. I'm not sure which word is right. What I mean is, there was no furnace sound. It was February in West Virginia, middle of the night. If her furnace was running, I should have heard it through the phone. I should have heard something. Background noise, the tick of a clock, the hum of a refrigerator, the creak of a house at night. There was nothing. Ruth's voice came through clean and dry and without any room behind it, like she wasn't in a room at all, like she was talking from nowhere. I almost said, Ruth, where are you right now? But I didn't, because it was a stupid question. She was at Ford and 17 Guyan Avenue. The ANI said so. The ALI said so. The CAD said so. 3 systems confirmed it. I was talking to Ruth Adkins at her home. That was a fact. Unit 252 radioed, on scene. Ruth, the medics are at your front door. Can you hear them? Yes, I can hear them knocking. Can you get to the door? No, but it's unlocked. I always leave it unlocked. I told 252 the door was unlocked. They acknowledged. I heard them go in through the radio. Then nothing for about 45 seconds. They're assessing, finding the patient. 45 seconds is standard. Then Hayes keyed up, and I knew. I knew before he said it because of the way he keyed the mic. There's a difference between a medic keying up to give a status report and a medic keying up because something is wrong. The first one is smooth. The second one has a pause before the first word. Hayes paused. Dispatch, we have a code. Patient is 1045. Dead. On arrival. Copy 252 confirming 1045. Affirm. Patient is... Dispatch. This patient has been down for a while. She's cold. Rigor in the jaw. She's stiff. I looked at my screen. The call timer said 11 minutes, 14 seconds. I was still connected. Ruth's line was still open. I could see it on the trunk display. Active call. ANI locked. The line was live. I said it. I don't know why I said it. Maybe because protocol says you stay on the line until the medics confirm contact. Ruth, nothing. Not silence, nothing. There's a difference. Silence is the absence of sound. Nothing is the absence of the thing that makes sound. The line was there. The connection was there. But whatever had been on the other end was gone, like a light switching off, not fading, switching. The line dropped. The CAD logged it. Call terminated, 025825. 11 minutes, 14 seconds. Hayes radioed again. "Dispatch, I need to report something." The phone is in her hand. The handset is pressed to her ear. "But she's been dead for hours. The rigger, I'm not guessing. I've been on the truck 9 years. She died early evening, maybe 8:30. I didn't respond. Denise looked over from console 1. I could feel her looking. I stared at the CAD screen. The call log was right there. Start time 2:47:11, end time 58:25, duration 11:14. Caller Ruth E. Adkins, address 417 Guyan Ave, status complete. I talked to Ruth Adkins for 11 minutes and 14 seconds. Ruth Adkins had been dead since approximately 8:30 p.m., 6 hours. I talked to a dead woman for 6 hours worth of dead, and neither of us knew it. No, that's wrong. One of us knew. I pulled the audio the next morning. I shouldn't have. When your shift ends, you go home. You don't pull recordings. You don't replay calls. That's a rule I followed for 22 years. I broke it for Ruth. I sat at console 3, same chair, same headset, and loaded the WAV file from the recorder. Hit play. My voice came through first. "Cabell County 911, what's your emergency?" Clear, normal. Then Ruth. Her voice was there. Every word. Same conversation. Same 11 minutes. But there was something underneath. A low hum. Not the HVAC, not line static. A hum like a refrigerator running in an empty house. Steady. Constant. I hadn't heard it during the live call. Dispatcher's filter. You listen for words and ignore everything else. But in playback, the hum was loud. And between Ruth's words, in the gaps where a person would pause to breathe, there was no breath. None. I listened twice. Ruth spoke for 11 minutes and never once took a breath. Her words just started and stopped, like someone pressing play and pause on a tape, like a voice with no lungs behind it. I called the phone company that afternoon, requested the trunk records for Ruth's landline. The response came back the next day in a fax. They still fax things in 2013. I read it standing at the machine in the break room. No outgoing calls from that number since February 12th. The 911 call on the 14th did not exist in their system. No trunk seizure, no routing record. The call was real on our end and non-existent on theirs. A call from nowhere to somewhere. I went to Denise, told her what the phone company said. She listened. Then she said something that made the floor shift. "I looked over at your screen around 2:50. Your call timer said 47 minutes. It was 11. I know what the log says. I'm telling you what I saw. 47 minutes. Denise doesn't lie. She saw 47 minutes on the same screen that logged 11. I don't have an explanation for that." The ME report came a week later. Ruth Adkins, 74, acute myocardial infarction, estimated time of death, approximately 8:30 p.m., February 13th. She died in her kitchen, pot roast still in the oven, burned black, phone handset in her right hand, pressed against her ear. She'd been holding it when she died. 6 hours later, she called me. I filed an incident report. ID pulled the positron Viper logs. Their conclusion: anomalous trunk event, no corrective action required. A dead woman called 911 and talked for 11 minutes, and the best we got was anomalous trunk event. I took 3 sick days, came back, worked my rotation, told myself it was the Viper system. New install, bugs, phantom ANIs happen. They just don't usually come with 11 minutes of conversation. Then it happened again. 1 week later, console 3, 2:47 a.m. The phone rang. ANI populated. 304-525-XXXX, Ruth's number. 47 Guyan Avenue. I picked up. 11 minutes of nothing, not silence, nothing. That hum, that refrigerator hum. And under the hum, this is the part I still can't say without my hands shaking, I could hear breathing. Not Ruth's breathing, mine. I was hearing my own breath come back at me through a dead woman's phone line. I breathed in, the line breathed in. I breathed out, it breathed out. Like the phone was a mirror, but for sound. I muted my mic, held my breath. The breathing on the line stopped. Same moment, same instant. I unmuted, took a breath. The line breathed with me. I pulled my headset off, walked to the break room, stared at the wall for the remaining 4 hours of my shift. The call logged in the CAD. Duration, 11 minutes, 14 seconds. Same as before, exactly the same. I retired 8 months later, not because of Ruth. Because Console 3's phone rang at 2:47 a.m. every Thursday for 6 weeks after that. Every time the ANI was Ruth's number. Every time whoever picked up heard nothing. Just dead air, hum, hang up. Every time the duration logged at exactly 11 minutes and 14 seconds. I drive a school bus now, 43 kids. They're loud, they scream and they fight over seats and they drop things and they never stop making noise. I like that. I need that. Because the quiet is where the phone rings and I don't pick up anymore. I still don't know who I talked to that night. I know who it wasn't. It wasn't Ruth Adkins. Ruth was dead on her kitchen floor with a phone in her hand and a pot roast burning in the oven. But whoever it was, they knew Ruth's name, her address, her medications, the color of her wallpaper, and the sound her furnace made. They knew everything about Ruth Adkins. Everything,